Our blue planet, a shimmering jewel in space, appears serene from afar. Yet beneath the surface, life teems with activity. The ocean, our planet's heartbeat, provides air, regulates climate, and sustains life. From majestic whales to tiny plankton, every creature plays a crucial role in this interconnected ecosystem. Imagine diving beneath the waves into a realm of wonder. Coral reefs burst with color, sheltering countless fish, while sea turtles and dolphins navigate their ocean home. The ocean is a treasure trove of life, each creature playing a role in the intricate web of existence. The ocean, a fragile ecosystem, is threatened by human actions. Chemicals from land flow into the ocean, poisoning marine life. Corals bleach and die, while plastics form a deadly soup. Turtles ingest plastic bags, mistaking them for jellyfish, leading to slow deaths. Seabirds feed plastic to their young, condemning them too. The ocean, once a sanctuary, is becoming a toxic trap. But the tide is turning. The ocean's creatures are ready to fight for survival. Industrial fishing decimates fish populations and destroys ecosystems. Massive nets crush coral reefs and drown sea turtles. Bycatch unwanted marine life is discarded, dead or dying. Fish stocks plummet, warning of unsustainable practices. The ocean's creatures are rising to defend their home. They challenge the forces threatening their existence. The ocean's cry for help has long gone unanswered. Whales' songs are drowned by human noise, and dolphins bear scars from fishing gear. The ocean's distress calls are a plea for change, reminding us of our interconnectedness with nature. Beneath the waves, a change was brewing. Fish whispered of shrinking shoals and destructive nets. Dolphins swam with urgency, sensing a threat. The ocean buzzed with unease, transcending species and habitat. The impact of humans was insidious and all-encompassing. The ocean's inhabitants realized they could no longer remain silent. In the ocean's abyss, ancient creatures felt the ocean's pain. Giant and colossal squids, guardians of the deep, stirred from their slumber. Whales with ancient wisdom knew it was time to act and guide others in the fight for survival. Coral reefs, underwater cities teeming with life, were dying. Rising temperatures caused coral bleaching, starving the reefs. Fish and sea turtles lost their homes and food sources. The coral's silent plea for help resonated throughout the ocean. This systemic crisis demanded a unified response. An unprecedented alliance formed in the ocean. Predators and prey united against a common threat. Sharks swam alongside seals and dolphins became messengers. The ocean pulsed with a shared determination. The creatures of the deep were ready to fight for their future. On a seemingly ordinary day, a silent tension built beneath the surface. The ocean's mood changed, currents swirled with energy. Fishermen, oblivious, cast their nets, expecting the usual bounty, but the ocean was about to find its voice. The creatures of the deep, their patience exhausted, were done with whispers. The time for action had arrived. The first sign that something was amiss came in the form of unusual wave patterns. Waves behaving in ways that defied the sailors' expectations. Experienced sailors, men who prided themselves on their ability to read the ocean like an open book, scratched their heads in confusion, their seasoned eyes unable to decipher the message. The swells, instead of rolling in from the open sea, seemed to be originating from multiple points, converging and diverging in a chaotic dance that defied logic. Word spread amongst the fishing boats, a mixture of curiosity and unease replacing the usual banter about the day's catch, as fishermen tried to make sense of the strange occurrences. Some dismissed it as a quirk of the current, a temporary anomaly that would soon pass, a mere blip in the ocean's vast rhythm. Others felt a prickle of unease, a sense that something larger was at play, an undercurrent of tension that they couldn't quite shake off. They had spent their lives on the water and knew that the ocean often spoke in ways that humans couldn't always comprehend, its language both ancient and mysterious. Meanwhile, beneath the surface, a symphony of movement was unfolding, a dance of life that was both beautiful and foreboding. Dolphins, those masters of echolocation, used their clicks and whistles to orchestrate the movements of massive schools of fish, guiding them towards the surface in a display of coordinated chaos, a spectacle of nature's precision. Sharks, their powerful tails propelling them through the water, circled the fishing boats, their presence a silent but unmistakable warning, a reminder of the ocean's untamed nature. The ocean was speaking in a language as old as time itself, a language of currents and tides, of ripples and swells, a dialogue that had been ongoing for millennia. It was a language that spoke of power and fury, of a force that had been awakened after centuries of slumber, a force that demanded respect. And though many humans on the surface failed to understand its meaning, the message was clear to those who knew where to look, to those who listened with more than just their ears. The ocean was angry, and it was about to unleash its fury, a tempest that would leave an indelible mark on all who witnessed it. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the strange behavior of the ocean intensified. The fishing boats, once scattered across the horizon, found themselves at the mercy of an unseen force. The waves, no longer content with simply rocking the boats, began to toss them about like toys, lifting them high into the air one moment and dropping them down into troughs the next. Cries of alarm replaced the earlier confusion as the fishermen struggled to maintain control of their vessels. Nets, once cast into the water with practiced ease, became tangled messes, snagged and pulled by unseen forces. The ocean, once a source of sustenance and income, had transformed into an unpredictable adversary. Beneath the surface, the dance of disruption continued. Giant squid, their tentacles as thick as a man's torso, rose from the depths, their enormous eyes glowing with an eerie luminescence. They wrapped their tentacles around the anchors of the fishing boats, dragging them off course, their immense strength defying the efforts of the fishermen to reel them in. The ocean floor, usually a place of relative calm, was alive with activity. Crabs, lobsters, and other bottom-dwelling creatures emerged from their hiding places, scuttling across the sand in a mass exodus. They carried with them a message, passed from creature to creature, that echoed the growing turmoil above. The ocean was no longer a safe place for those who sought to exploit its bounty. As the chaos on the surface reached its peak, a strange calm descended upon the ocean, as if nature itself was taking a deep breath. The waves, as if exhausted from their display of power, subsided, leaving behind a gentle rocking that belied the turmoil that had come before, a stark contrast to the earlier fury. The fishing boats, battered and bruised, drifted aimlessly, their crews shaken but unharmed, grateful to have survived the ordeal. Then, from the depths, a sound like 1,000 voices crying out in unison echoed across the water, a haunting melody of the deep. It was a sound that sent chills down the spines of even the most hardened sailors, a sound that spoke of ancient power and righteous anger, a warning from the ocean itself. It was the voice of the ocean itself, and it had a message for those who had dared to exploit its bounty for so long, a message that could not be ignored. A giant whale, its body longer than any ship on the horizon, breached the surface of the water, its immense form casting a shadow over the fleet of fishing boats, a guardian of the deep. It hung in the air for a moment, its massive eyes seeming to take in the scene, before crashing back into the water with a resounding boom that sent spray high into the air, a display of raw power. The message was clear. The ocean had drawn a line in the sand. The time for taking without giving back was over. A new era of balance was demanded. The creatures of the deep, united in their determination to protect their home, were prepared to defend their right to exist, no matter the cost. The fate of the ocean and the humans who depended on it now hung in the balance, a delicate equilibrium. The choice was clear: adapt or face the consequences, a decision that would shape the future. The whale's message, a thunderous call for respect and balance, resonated far beyond the terrified fishermen. Across the world, people felt a shift, a tremor of understanding that ran deeper than any earthquake. News of the ocean's uprising, carried on the whispers of the wind and the cries of seabirds, reached every corner of the globe. On bustling city streets, amidst the cacophony of traffic and construction, people paused, their heads tilting instinctively as if listening for a distant echo. Images of the ocean's power, of fishing boats tossed about like toys, of creatures both beautiful and fearsome rising up in unison, filled television screens and computer monitors. The world, so often caught up in its own dramas, was forced to pay attention. In classrooms, children, their imaginations already captivated by the wonders of the underwater world, listened with wide-eyed fascination as teachers recounted the tales. They understood, perhaps better than the adults, that the ocean wasn't just a vast, empty expanse. It was a home, a thriving community of creatures who deserved their respect and protection. The message carried on the backs of sea turtles and the songs of humpback whales resonated deeply within them. The ocean, for so long a silent victim, had found its voice. And as its message spread, a growing sense of responsibility began to take root in the hearts of people around the world. The time for taking was over. The time for healing had begun. The ocean's uprising, a dramatic display of power and frustration, marked a turning point in the relationship between humanity and the sea. It was a wake-up call that could no longer be ignored. The message, delivered with the force of 1,000 crashing waves, was impossible to ignore. It resonated deeply with people from all walks of life. People began to see the ocean not just as a source of food and recreation, but as a living, breathing entity deserving of respect and protection. This shift in perspective was monumental. All over the world, individuals and communities rose to the challenge. They united with a common purpose. Scientists who had long warned about the consequences of overfishing and pollution found themselves at the forefront of a global movement to study and protect marine ecosystems. Their research became more critical than ever. They dedicated themselves to finding sustainable solutions, to developing fishing practices that would allow both humans and marine life to thrive. Their efforts were tireless and innovative. Politicians, spurred on by their constituents' growing concern for the ocean's health, enacted stricter regulations on fishing practices and pollution control. These new laws were a step in the right direction. They established marine reserves, safe havens where fish stocks could recover and ecosystems could regenerate. These protected areas became symbols of hope. International collaborations, once fraught with disagreements and competing interests, found common ground in the shared goal of protecting the ocean for future generations. Unity became the new norm. But it wasn't just scientists and politicians who answered the ocean's call. Ordinary people played a crucial role too. Children, inspired by the courage and resilience of the marine creatures they had learned about, became passionate advocates for change. Their enthusiasm was infectious. They organized beach cleanups, wrote letters to their elected officials, and educated their families and friends about the importance of protecting the ocean. Their actions spoke volumes. They understood that even small actions, multiplied by millions of people, could make a big difference. The collective effort was a testament to human determination. Years passed, and the relationship between humanity and the ocean began to heal. The once depleted fish stocks began to rebound, their numbers slowly increasing within the safety of marine reserves. Coral reefs, given a chance to recover from the ravages of bleaching and pollution, regained their vibrant colors, once again becoming havens for a dazzling array of marine life. The ocean, though still bearing the scars of past abuse, responded with a resilience that inspired hope. The whispers of fear and anger that had once echoed through its depths were replaced by a cautious optimism, a sense that perhaps, just perhaps, humans had finally begun to understand. The children who had been so instrumental in this transformation grew up carrying with them the lessons they had learned. They became scientists, teachers, artists, and entrepreneurs, their lives dedicated to protecting the ocean that had captured their imaginations as children. And as they shared their love for the sea with their own children and grandchildren, a new story began to unfold. A story of partnership and respect, of shared responsibility for the planet we all call home. It was a story that whispered of hope, a promise that the ocean and all its wonders would be protected for generations to come.